If you could have one superpower, what would it be? What would you decide on? Would you want to fly? Would you want to have super strength? Would you want to teleport? I know what I'd want. I would want the ability to fly. Fucking magical. Can you imagine that? Just flying around doing whatever the fuck you want. Hey, I need to get to work. There's traffic. Who gives a fuck? I can fly. I'll get there in a minute. But I always think that when you do tell people about superpowers, it's always a 50-50. What I mean by that is half of them say that they wish they could fly, and half of them say, they wish they had the invisibility power. And those half that wish for the invisibility power, they're all dirty bastards. You ask them what they want it for? So I could rob a bank, bro. I remember I was talking to someone, this is ages ago, and I was like, it was the same. I was like, what kind of superpower would you want? Guy turns around and he's like, I'd want to be invisible, bro. I go, why? He's like, so I could rob the bank, innit? I go, alright, fair enough. You're invisible, and you can get into a bank, but are other people gonna notice that there's two fucking floating bags moving about? He's like, I didn't think about that, bro. I go, yeah, you didn't think about a lot of shit. But then again, if you did fly, you'd defo got like you'd get shot down. Like people would start thinking like, what the fuck's that in the sky? Sniper you out of the sky? Nowadays whenever there's like a weird ass object in the sky, there's all these conspiracy theories about it being a UFO, and then there's all these stories coming out and then people recording it. Like, I don't know if you all believe in UFOs, like aliens and all that shit. Like, but when people come out and they say, oh yeah, I recorded it on my phone, and you see these clips on YouTube, all they ever show are lights. Like the camera's facing towards the sky, it's shaking a lot, and then there's like a yellow light at night time, and it just zooms away quickly. You'd think with everyone having cameras and these mobile phones that have these like fucking HD recorders, someone must have recorded something. But the fact that they haven't makes me call bullshit. There are no UFOs. It's people chatting shit. Like they're getting abducted and this happened and that happened. None of that shit happened. But what has been going on? Well, a lot of shit. I guess I could start it off by saying what the government's doing. So, the UK government, because everything's easing off, they came back and they were like, we want to restart the economy. It's already fallen so low. We've lost so much money. Like because they had to put everything on lockdown. A lot of businesses have gone bust and they've lost a lot of money. So what they came out with was, what they originally came out with, but now we know it's not going through. They were like, we'll give £500 to every UK resident. And then when I heard that, I was like, fuck me, that's really good. Like £500, like you can spend it on anything you want. Like not £500 cash, they'd most likely give you like £500 in coupons, and then you could go to like certain shops and buy certain things. But even that's a plus on its own. Like, imagine that, like, you get £500, you can buy whatever the fuck you want, and plus you haven't worked for that money, it's just been given to you. Then you can, you wouldn't feel as bad spending it on stupid shit. Like sometimes, when you buy like a piece of clothing or you buy something expensive and you think about it later, you're like, oh fuck, I just bought this fucking new shoes for £600, and I've been working for the last 4 months just to save up for them, just for these fucking shoes that I'm gonna wear for a year and then I'm gonna get rid of. But £500 for the government would be good, but it came out as all bullshit, and I have to admit I was pretty upset about that. I was thinking, these motherfuckers, they fucking did us over. But one thing they did come out with is they came out with the fact that they were saying that we want people to get into restaurants. So what we're going to do is we're going to give 50% off on food. Now, when I heard that, I was like, God damn. Like, I can go to fucking Nando's and spend like £80 and I'll get all that shit for £40, like half, 50% off. But no, the government had they had like a little clause on that, stop people going crazy. They were like, It's 50%, but the limit is £10. Basically means if I go to a restaurant and I spend £5 on fuck knows what, because who's gonna spend £5 in a restaurant? Like, I'm gonna get one drink and then that's it. I'll get £2.50 off. Now, if I spend £20, I'll get £10 off. And if I spend £40, I'll still get £10 off, because it's 50% only up to the £20 limit. So if you spend £20, you get 50% off, and that's £10. And anything over £20 will only have the £10 applied to it, if that makes sense. So they caught us out with that, which is major bullshit. Like, if they want to give us something, like I personally think it would have cost a lot of money, but it would have really started the economy quite a lot as well. Because what I think personally is, if they turned around and they were like, it's 50% on everything, like everything in the restaurant, like, no matter how much you spend, you could go to a restaurant, spend £400 and you get £200 off. You get your full 50% off. A lot of people would be going. But £10, I'm not saying I'm not going to use that shit. I definitely will, but still, it's not enough. Like, fucking, at least give us some more money. But I mean, it's part of the government scheme, isn't it, to restart everything, and they're doing all these aid packages for the millions of people who have been placed out of work. I mean, it is quite bad, not just in the UK but around the world, because of lockdown. Millions of people have lost their jobs, businesses have gone bust, a lot of people have lost a lot of money. But hopefully, we can get back to a stage where the lockdowns eases out, we develop a vaccine, and we get back to normal. That's one thing I wonder as well. If like you woke up tomorrow and they were like, the government was like, okay, coronavirus has ended, what is the first thing you would do? I don't know myself, to be honest. I'd really have to think about it, but what is the first thing you would do? Let me know, guys. Let me know. Plus, the easing of lockdown has come with a lot of benefits. The gyms are going to open up again. A lot of other things are opening, but I was waiting for my gym. It's going to be opening on the 25th of July. But they still have like social distancing in place, so I don't know how that's going to work. Because the gym I go to is kind of small. Like, it's not the biggest gym. Like, it's a small ass gym, and if there's like 20 people in that gym, then it's fucking hard to get on any machine, because every machine gets taken up, maybe it's packed out as well. So they'll have to do something about that. They'll have to like lock certain machines off. So I wonder how that's going to work. But it's definitely a positive that from the 25th of July we can go back to gymming. I can get rid of this fat ass belly. I've been snacking, I've been eating my chocolates, I've been eating my crisps, I've been eating all my fatty foods, just sitting at home doing fuck all. And because of that, I've developed a little belly, and I want to get rid of the belly. I want to burn that fat off. I want to go to gym and do those crunches and jump on the running machine and get in that cross trainer and fucking burn that belly off. But we'll see how it goes, hopefully. I'm just thinking now as well, they probably froze my membership as well, because at the gym I had like 4 months left of membership, so they probably froze it. So that's a good thing as well. I don't have to dish out any new money for my gym membership. I've still got 4 months left. Opens in July. It should carry me through, to near end of the year, and that should be perfect. And then I'll probably make a gym membership at a bigger gym, because mine's too fucking small. And I'm just thinking about it right now. The coronavirus is gonna fuck it up. Like, social distancing or not, they're only gonna let like 5-10 people in. Another thing that I just thought of right now is, what if they like put a time limit on? So when you go to the gym, they're like, okay, you can only be in the gym for like half an hour, and then after half an hour you have to fuck off and let the next person in. So it's definitely see what happens with that as well. So another big thing that's happened this past weekend, well, it's been about 2 weeks, I'd say. So there's a popular singer, R&B artist called Alsina. He's proper R&B singer. and he was doing an interview with Angela Yee, who's the Breakfast Club host. She's like a radio personality, and he was there promoting his new album. And she was asking him a few questions, and he came out with the fact that he was basically dating Jada Pinkett-Smith. Now, who's Jada Pinkett-Smith? If you guys don't know, well, she's Will Smith's wife, and it's not like he was doing it behind Will Smith's back. Like, he straight out came out and he goes, and his story was that, you know, he had a big crush on her, so he went up to Will Smith and he told her, he was like, yo, you know, I know you're married, but I really like your wife and I want to date her. And what does Will Smith say? He's like, amen, brother, do whatever the fuck you want. And they were dating for like a few years, which is fucking mad, that. Like, you know, Jade and Will, they've been married for like over 20 years. They've got 2 kids. Like, a lot of people would say that's the perfect marriage. Who the fuck knew it was an open marriage? And do you know how I know that no one wanted this to know this was happening? Because when Alsina came out with all these, you know, all these claims that he was smashing Will Smith's wife, Jada, like, she released like a little statement saying that it was all untrue and she was gonna address it correctly and everything. And still there's been nothing, no statement or nothing, like nothing that had been expanded upon that, which basically means that she's bullshitting. She's probably talking to a publicist and probably talking to a family, like saying to him like, what the fuck, like, how do we handle this? Like, we're giving the image of a perfect marriage, and it can't really be known that, you know, I was banging this young singer. And August, he's like 22, 23, and Jada, she's like in the late 40s and 50s, early 50s, I think. It's like a massive age gap, like at least 30 years age gap. She's old enough to be his mum, and you know, it's just funny, man, that they're banging. It made really big headlines all around. Like, I was just looking in Twitter as well when this came out, and everyone was fucking going off. Like, everyone was going off. A lot of people were saying that, you know, August was groomed. Like, you know, whenever a guy dates a younger girl, there's always these accusations like, oh, you know, the guy was too old and the girl's too young, and you know, the guy probably groomed her and, like, you know, basically persuaded her, and he should have some self-respect and he shouldn't be doing shit like that. But then on the opposite end of that is when a woman does that to a guy, in this instance where Jada Pinkett, who's in her 50s, is dating this August R&B singer who's in his mid-20s. Like, no one's really saying that, you know, she shouldn't be doing that, and she's old enough and she groomed him, this and that. So there's like a really big double standard. Don't get me wrong, it's not everyone, but some people were saying it like that. And ideally, at the end of the day, if you're in your 50s and you're dating someone in your 20s, like, as long as they're legal, it should be okay. But still, there's got to be some kind of check. Like, you can't really be, you know, they've got to be in the right frame of mind. Let's just put it that way. Like, I can't really talk on anybody else's relationships, but it's got to be like that. But the maddest thing is that fucking, you know, this guy's dating fucking, you know, Jada with the blessing of Will Smith, which makes you think that they've got an open relationship. Because if Will Smith's letting Jada bang other guys, then 100% Jada is doing that for Will. And fair enough, some people have a marriage like that. Whatever keeps them going. But they shouldn't really uphold this image of being like, you know, all wholesome and, you know, upstanding Americans and they don't do anything wrong. Like, if you're doing some shady shit like that, you should let people know. Like, you shouldn't deny it. You should just be like, yep, we're doing that shit and we don't give a fuck. But I personally think that they're going to come out, they're going to try to deny it, try to like cover up the whole media bullshit that's come out, and, you know, try to move on as quickly as possible. But we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. And on the topic of celebrities, there was it's come out recently that Naya Rivera, who is a star in Glee the TV series, she was on a boat ride with a young daughter in South California, and she went missing. Like, apparently they were saying she went for a swim and when she went for a swim, she never came back, and the police started searching for it. Now, so she went missing this Wednesday that just gone by, and according to the local media officials, they said that there was a report of a child who was alone on a boat, which was Naya's 4-year-old son. I know I said daughter, but yeah, son. And the search rescue is still continuing. So that was on Wednesday, and today's Friday, and she went missing in a river. Like, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Like, I don't think, like, someone's happened. Like, someone probably kidnapped her, or she probably just drowned by accident. But why the fuck would you go swimming on your own and leave your son on his own in the boat? Like, why the fuck would you do that? But we'll see what comes out. We'll see what news reports come out, and what people say, about it. And hopefully she's found safe. To be honest, like that's the main thing. Hopefully she's found safe, but we can get a clear understanding of what's going on and what's happened. So we'll see what happens with that story. And a big thing right now is, like I was saying before, that they're easing the lockdown and opening up all these businesses, and the government's doing all these schemes and plans to help the UK economy like lift back up. But in some instances, like, the damage has already been done. Like, there's major stores and restaurants that are going to cut thousands of jobs following the lockdown, because of the lockdown basically. So I've got some figures right here as well, that were posted, and there's a few stores here that everyone in the UK should know about, which are cutting a large amount of people. They're letting a large amount of people go. So John Lewis is gonna basically cut 1,300 jobs. Boots is gonna cut 4,000 jobs. Burger King is gonna cut 1,600 jobs and close 53 of their restaurants down. And Rolls-Royce, famous car manufacturer, are gonna cut 3,000 jobs. And that just explains to you some kind of, it should inform you that, like, what kind of damage that's already been done, and we're not still fully out of lockdown. Like, if we get a second wave, if the corona, which is highly likely as well, like, and we have to go into full lockdown, who knows how much the economy is going to be damaged? Like, will it get to a point where we'll get in the Great Recession again, like back in 2007, when there was, not 2007, sorry, back in, what was it, back in 2007, when there was a big Great Recession? Like, who knows, like, how bad it's gonna get? But hopefully we can pull it back. Like, it can get to a point where there's a recovery from it. We don't want to go so far past that, the government has to bail out all these big businesses, and then we get more in debt with everything. Like, we don't want to get to that point. But talking of businesses, one business that has been doing some shady practices is Boohoo, which is a popular clothing brand. And you've probably noticed them because they have all these Instagram models advertising their clothes, and so you've probably seen, when you go on these Instagram profiles, like these famous girls on Instagram, and you click on their profiles, like, every time they're wearing a dress, they'll be like, oh, it's from Boohoo. Well, it's always two things, and it's Boohoo or Pretty Little Thing. But Pretty Little Thing has been classed under Boohoo as well. So Boohoo is recently in the news, and they're paying workers less than a minimum wage. So they had these factories that they were running in the UK. So, like, don't get me wrong, this is not a place like a third world country. Like, it's not somewhere like in Bangladesh where they were paying workers, like, paying them fuck all, like 50p a day. This is actually in the UK, and they got caught. So I don't know how they got exposed, but they had a factory in Leicester, a clothes factory, and the Boohoo founder, whose name is Jalal Kamani, he was linked to that factory. And what they found was that basically they were paying like some mad little amount of money, like the littlest amount of money, like £3.50 an hour, £3 or £2.50 an hour to their workers, and that's caused quite a lot of stir as well. Like a lot of people came out like, what the fuck? Why are you paying your workers so little? Like they should be getting much more money than that. And Boohoo came out. They were like, "Oh, we're going to release a statement, and we're doing our own internal investigation and everything." Which, to be honest, if they're doing their own internal investigation, they're obviously going to bullshit it. But that's nothing new, to be honest, because when they searched the factory, they found that it was mainly like ethnic minorities who were working in that factory and making money for basically like £2.50 an hour and working some mad hours, like working 10-12 hours a day. And it's not unusual because it's not just in Leicester. Like even like all around the UK, I hear that kind of shit. Like and it's mainly like Asian women that I've noticed that it goes on with. Like Asian women, they need a job. They have their family to look after, but they need a job where they can do something. They don't know as much English as a regular person. So these factories are open. These and it's mostly garment factories. So these garment factories, these clothes factories are open, and they call them over. They're like, okay, you don't need to speak to anyone. You don't need to do anything. You need to sit in this table and just keep producing these clothes, and we'll pay you minimum wage, and we'll just keep it at that. And the conditions are so fucked up, and they don't even give these women any breaks. They don't give anything at all in that regard. Like they treat them like proper shit as well. It's just like they want a machine to be working, not a human. They just look at it as a machine. Like there's a factory open, there's 100 of you working, and we want 5,000 clothes by the end of the day, every single day. And if you don't produce that, we're going to fire you because there's so many people that can replace you. So I'm kind of glad that Boohoo, they got caught out for this kind of practice, because it should not be happening. It should not be happening. And I hope that there's a further investigation into this and there's some kind of fine sanctioned. Like that's the only way these clothes manufacturers are going to learn, not to do this kind of shit. If the government comes into it, they carry out a full investigation, and then they put out such a big ass fine on them that other clothing manufacturers look at that shit and think, fuck that, it's not worth it. Like if we get caught and we get that much fine, it definitely wouldn't be worth it. But hopefully we can find out more what's happening, and see what develops further down the line. But that's it. That's the end of the episode for this week, guys. Follow me on Instagram at Talking with F. Follow me on Twitter at Talking with F1. I'm also on YouTube. Just type in Talking with F, and my video should pop up. And subscribe, like, and comment. See you guys next week.